Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. My name is FPL Meerkat and welcome to The Lookout. It's going to be a new weekly series that I'm going to have on this channel, doing some analysis on the previous game week, identifying 10 assets that I think did really well in the previous game week and basically giving some information and statistics on them for you guys. So yeah, I'm going to go through 10 different assets that performed really well in game week 3. Maybe some of them didn't return the points, but I think played really well. So people to keep your eye on. 10 assets, 10 minutes to go through all of them, 1 minute on each asset. Hopefully that's the idea. But if you guys enjoy this series, drop it a like. It really helps me know whether to continue this kind of series. Yeah, and also drop in the comments down below who are the 10 assets that you think performed really well in the game week. So let's get straight into it. So I'm going to be going in order of when the matches were played. And up first here, we have Gusto, who's quite a popular transfer for last week, and rightly so with the home fixture against Luton. Very low owned defender at the moment. At the time of recording, only 7% owned, but he's slowly going up in price. He was a 4 million defender, and he's really making a mockery of that pricing, isn't he? With Reece James confirmed out for quite a bit. Yeah, he had an incredibly good game week there. I've also provided the expected points there from Drafttown as well. As you can see there, 12.1 points predicted over the next 3 game weeks. And the heat maps there, basically, yeah, very heavily involved Gusto, pretty much playing as a midfielder, sometimes even a winger in this Chelsea system. Seems to be a very good alternative to Chilwell. Maybe not got the stats quite there as much as Chilwell. 0.16 expected assists shows that he was pretty lucky to overperform by that much. But yeah, a solid pick there, I think, from Gusto. Up next, of course, is Raheem Sterling with a 0.86 expected goals there. A goal involvement above 1 as well. A 19-point haul. Really well done if you went for him. Again, relatively low ownership there and a cheap price point of 7.1 million. We know that Sterling is a top asset and he got very generously priced this season. As you can see there from the heat maps, he's being able to get into so many dangerous positions there. He's playing wide, but he's able to cut into the box there, and he looked incredibly dangerous in the penalty area. 20.9 expected points, one of the highest points totals there from any asset Drafttown has given there. And again, the fixtures for Chelsea looking really good. Sterling, I think, should be hot on your radar. Up next, James Maddison, a little bit more expensive and higher owned, but massive on the stats there. 1.08 expected goals there, and expected assists of nearly 0.5. Only the 10 points as well. It could have been far more in the game against Bournemouth. Again, a high amount of expected points there, 15.3. And you can see from the heat map, seems to be very dangerous in that area just outside the box. He did seem to track back quite a bit, you can see there in the back left of the pitch. But yeah, he seems to be getting into these very dangerous positions. James Maddison is on set pieces. We're not sure whether he's on penalties. He might add that to his game. He could potentially have them. But yeah, seems to be a very dangerous asset. Everything that Spurs are doing seems to be going through Maddison, and the fixtures are there. I think Maddison is a great pickup for the upcoming fixtures. Up next, again from Spurs, we've got Udogie. Nothing from the expected goals, but 0.34 expected assists. And as we know, defenders, all they need is 1 assist and a clean sheet, and it's an absolute haul for them. As you can see there from the heat map, he is tracking back quite a lot. He's staying quite defensive, but he did really bomb up that left channel, as you can see there in the heat maps, really ending up just inside the box there. I think that was actually exactly where he got his assist. And again, very high expected points there, 14.1 for the next 3 games. And actually, there's 2 really good games there, followed by a fairly tough one against Arsenal. But yeah, for that price point and at that ownership, I think Udogie is a really good pickup if you are looking for a defender to transfer in. Maybe you're looking to get rid of the likes of a Saliba, of an Estupinan. I think Udogie could be a really strong replacement. Up next, bit of an interesting one here. We've got Jose Sarr, who really impressed in the game versus Everton. 7 saves made, an XG of 1.53 faced. So basically that's how much XG he prevented whilst he was in goal. An 11-point haul for Jose Sarr. Regularly seems to be one of the top goalkeepers in the game in terms of a points total. I haven't predicted Wolves to do very well this season, but Sarr can really rack up the points there. Only 9.5 expected points. He's not one of the higher ones in terms of the goalkeepers for expected points, but he is a top quality goalkeeper, as we saw in the game against Everton. He pulled off some incredible saves to keep the clean sheet there. And at just 5 million as well, he's a bit more one of the pricier goalkeepers, obviously cheaper than the premium ones, but I think he is probably worth that extra 0.5 million and will definitely rack up those points for you. Up next, we have Bruno Fernandes, who I believe had the highest XG out of anyone. Of course, that does factor in a penalty as well. But yeah, 1.21 XG and 0.5 expected assists. 12 points for Bruno Fernandes, could have been considerably higher. And just look at that heat map. He was actually operating primarily as a winger in this one, a right winger. He was being moved out there quite a bit. He's got a tough fixture coming up against Arsenal, but of course he can definitely return in that. And he's a bit pricier as well, but we know that Bruno Fernandes is a very consistent asset. He's proved that over the last couple seasons. Obviously, he had quite an off period in the first 2 games, but it seems to be that he's bounced back in that Nottingham Forest fixture, and he could be someone to definitely consider. If he's someone who's already in your team, definitely hold him. I think he's worth it for those tougher fixtures, but yeah, he seems to be someone who could very well be in the points, especially as he's on all set pieces and penalties. And now we have one of my favourite players, Awoniyi, not someone who I went with, but he's now scored in 3 consecutive games, a player that definitely seems to tick over in terms of points. 0.67 expected goals, 0.02 expected assists. He isn't on penalties, which is a bit of a, makes him a bit of a worse asset, but he's someone that is consistently scoring against anyone. Yes, the fixtures look pretty tough on paper there. There's a nice one, Burnley at home, but yeah, the fixtures are pretty tough, so the expected points are relatively low. But Awoniyi has scored now in 7 consecutive Premier League games. We really are overlooking him as an asset. Only 2.5% ownership. In terms of a differential striker, I don't think it gets much better than Awoniyi. As you can see, they're very lethal on the heat map in the penalty area, and also predominantly moving to the right wing as well to receive the ball. But yeah, Awoniyi is a very consistent asset. Up next, I could have easily gone for Jarrod Bowen here, but I've actually gone for James Ward-Prowse. A 0.98 expected goals. Not very high with the expected assists, but that can definitely come given how good his delivery is from those set pieces. One of the best players in, if not the best player in the world from a dead ball scenario. As you can see there, that high heat on the heat map just outside the box. A really, really good game coming up as well. Luton away. Yes, the 2 fixtures after that are very tough, but James Ward-Prowse, we're assuming might be on penalties as well. It could be Ben Rama still on penalties. We'll have to wait and see. But on free kicks, on corners, you can see there the heat map in the corner flag there. Seems to be a very dangerous asset. Jarrod Bowen as well could be another one looking really good, but he's a bit more of a differential and a bit cheaper, a bit lower on the ownership. So yeah, James Ward-Prowse I really like as a pickup. Then we, of course, have Matty Cash with an absolute surprise haul, getting 2 goals, I believe, in the first 20 or so minutes, and extremely dangerous on that right channel there. Basically not playing as a right back, playing essentially as a right midfielder. We seem to be having a lot of these wing backs and full backs who are essentially not playing as defenders. They're playing so advanced. A really high XG there as well, 1.25. Again, none of that is penalties. That is all attacking threat. Yes, it's a tough game against Liverpool away, but Liverpool's defence has been shambolic to say the least. So he could definitely get some returns in that game. A relatively high ownership of 8.4%. Didn't realise that many people owned him, but yet still relatively differential. Could be a good asset to switch to away from the template defenders. And yeah, what an absolute haul that was from Matty Cash, which he could definitely replicate again this season. And finally, of course, I was waiting to put together this video, and up steps Darwin Núñez with an absolutely incredible 10 minutes against Newcastle. Only a 0.52 XG. He only had 2 shots in the entire game, and those were his 2 goals. Definitely seems to be getting a lot more clinical as a striker. Still relatively low owned at 7.4%, and the expected points there, very consistent. It is expected that he will be on the bench for those games, but maybe, just maybe, that performance has changed Klopp's mind, and he could be a really, really explosive differential if some of you are brave enough to go there. He has been benched for the first 3 games, but as you can see there, he can haul off the bench. You're not going to want to pick players who you know are going to be starting on the bench, but he could potentially be in the starting lineup after an incredible performance against Newcastle, clearly cementing himself as one of, if not the best attacker at Liverpool at this current moment in time. Yeah, Darwin Núñez seems to be an incredibly, incredibly dangerous asset. And that's it for the lookout, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Are there any players that I've really overlooked? Please get them in the comments down below, and get subscribed to the channel for more weekly content. If you liked all the expected data that I put there, I'll leave a link to Draft Hound in the description. You can click that link and it will take you to the site, and it's just a really nice assistant manager tool that you can look over all the different metrics and statistics that they've got there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next FPL video.